Hi, in this video I wanted to walk you through some slides we have regarding the Microsoft migration that's happening on 5.20 and specifically around logins to applications that we all use on a daily basis and how this will change post-migration and then short-term how we will have to do a split login amongst some of our applications, and then finally a transition to where all our applications are moved over. So first, we're going to look at, this is our current state. SOLV users are going to be using single sign-on to most of our applications. So SOLV users here, we log in with username at solvenergy.com, current password, same as what we log on with our laptops, our email, and that gives us single sign-on to all these applications with one login. And then we have some individual applications that may have specific usernames and passwords to each application, and those are managed separately. These applications are in Swinton Cloud. Once we get to 5.20, this will be changing. We will be moving to our own tenant space, and this will cause a split in some of our applications, which I'll go into in a second. But this is a process that will be starting where some applications move over, some stay, and then some remain the same. So we'll have three buckets of applications and logins. And then throughout the year, applications will be moving over from Swinnerton's domain to SOLV. You can read this slide, but we're going to go over the next one in more detail with that gives you some more split between the three. So what we're going to have post-migration on 5.20 is we're going to have applications that remain in the SOLV Energy domain. We're going to have applications that are going to remain in Swinnerton for the time being because they're bigger lifts work-wise and are going to take a little longer to make happen. I want to point out that these are a couple of very important applications, Workday and CMIC in particular. And then we have some of those other applications that are not tied to either one of these two domains that are going to remain the same as they were before the migration. So in detail, this graphic shows a representation of how the applications are going to be split post-migration. And then I want to point out some differences in the way you're going to log in post-migration compared to where you're currently logging in pre-migration, pre-5.20. So you can see that now we have two clouds, a Swinnerton cloud and a SOLV cloud. Post 5.20, on that weekend, we're going to move all of these applications from Swinnerton to SOLV. These will remain, and then these will remain as well. The key differences is going to be how you log into each one of these clouds. As part of the migration, we're also moving the solvenergy.com domain from Swinnerton to SOLV. And so that means this solvenergy.com is no longer going to be available for us to use to log into CMIC, Workday, and FMW. So as part of that, we had to come up with a new domain to use to log into those. So that domain is going to be Swinnerton SE for solvenergy.com. And then you have your username. So this is important to note that your username is typically one of two things. It's typically your first name dot last name or first initial last name. And so whatever you use today to log into CMIC, as far as the username part, the first half, it's going to be the same. So if you log in as your first name dot last name at solvenergy.com, then it's going to be first name dot last name at swinnertonse.com. So the only thing that's going to change is this last half. And then the password you use today to log into CMIC and Workday is still going to be that password. So the only thing that's changed is what's in red. For all of our SOLV applications that get moved over, including your email and SharePoint and Teams and those kinds of applications in Microsoft, the username that you use today to log into those that's currently in Swinnerton. So again, first name dot last name or first initial last name, solvenergy.com, still the same. So it doesn't change. What will change potentially is your password. We have a new cloud set up. We're going to need everyone to set their password in the SOLV cloud. So it may or may not match your current password that you use today to log into email. In May, we're going to send out communications about how to do that. So you're going to hear more about how to do that. So just be aware of that. So 520, we're all going to have 2 sets of logins depending on what applications you log into. So be aware of that. You'll have more information about that on how to do that as we get closer. Can look at this. There's nothing that I haven't talked about already in this, but it's just summarizing what I just talked about. The only thing I want to point out is this is not a long-term situation. This is an interim situation where we're having 2 sets of logins. We will continue to migrate the remaining applications over in Q3, Q4, and you'll have more communications around that as that gets closer. The other thing we'll be doing as part of 520 migration is we are currently staffing our own internal IT support team. So we will be messaging out how to contact us for support after the cutover as we start taking over these resources from Swinnerton. And this just shows the final state that we continue to move applications over, end up with no Swinnerton cloud, no applications there. That Swinnerton login that used to be here will go away, and we will go back to just having our regular user account and login. And hopefully some of these other applications will be moved over to the cloud at a later time to try to unify under one username and password for everyone so that it's much easier and more secure for you to access your applications. And that's it. Hopefully this was helpful, and we appreciate your patience and support as we make these transitions to the new SOLV organization and moving forward. Thanks.